Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. We've used the Gigabyte RTX 2060 Gaming OC in quite a few builds on the channel, but I was curious to see how it would perform on our new test bench since I actually forgot to test it when Gigabyte sent the card over. And also, I was using the new test bench hardware in a few other build videos for the channel as well. So let's keep this video short and sweet and do what we always do and see how wide the Gigabyte RTX 2060 Gaming OC can stretch its wings. Let's do it. Let's talk about how we're testing this. We're using our brand new GPU test system, which is running the Gigabyte Z370 Aorus Pro with the i7-8700K and 16 gigs of G.Skill Triton Z clocked at 3200 MHz. This system is a little bit faster than our old test bench, and yeah, there's no restrictions with anything, so yeah, just overall we're getting better results with this test bench. Now, we included some other cards that we've tested recently to give the 2060 Gaming OC a little bit of context. Now, we don't include the 1% highs or lows with these tests because for us, it would just introduce a lot more extra testing, and I personally feel that getting an average frame rate gives you a good indication of expected performance. We ran 3 different benchmarks, all that use the GPU in different ways to see what the performance looks like in all 3 different situations. With that said, let's start off with the Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark. Now, this benchmark is built into the game and gives us a good indication of how the game will perform on your system. Now, this benchmark also does give us quite a few metrics, but we're just going to be talking about the average frame rate with the GPU. For the 1080p test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC get an average score of 104 frames per second. For the 1440p test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC get an average score of 77 frames per second. For the 4K test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC get an average score of 43 frames per second. Let's move on to Unigine Superposition. For the Superposition test, we performed 3 tests in total. We used the 4K optimized preset, the 1080p GPU Smashing Extreme preset, and a custom 1440p preset with depth of field and motion blur turned off. For the 1440p custom test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC get an average score of around 98 frames per second. For the 4K optimized test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC get an average score of 47 frames per second. And lastly, for that 1080p extreme test, the one that destroys every GPU in the world, the 2060 Gaming OC got an average score of 35 frames per second. The last batch of tests is with the Final Fantasy 15 benchmarking tool. This is an updated version of the tool that includes DLSS and a few more optimizations to make it a far more accurate benchmarking tool. Let's see how it went. For the 1080p test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC render a total amount of 8,053 frames. For the 1440p test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC render a total amount of 6,066 frames. For the 4K test, we saw the 2060 Gaming OC render a total amount of 3,430 frames. Based on those results from the RTX 2060 Gaming OC, it's looking like a pretty decent card for gaming at 1440p in 2019. Now, I'm currently using this GPU on my secondary editing machine, and for Premiere Pro timeline performance with the Creator Ready drivers, it's been pretty damn fantastic. So if you're a content creator, I think it's got enough grunt for most heavy workflows. Well, it works for us at least anyway. Now, I did a little bit of observation rather than actually testing with thermals. It sat around 61 degrees Celsius with the fans being dead silent, and that's when I was smashing all of the benchmarks. Now, I was actually pretty impressed with those thermals actually, but like I said, I didn't just sit around testing thermals, but since you guys always ask about that stuff, I thought that I would just quickly mention it. The Gigabyte RTX 2060 Gaming OC is currently going for around $379 US on Amazon right now. If you're interested in grabbing one, there is a link in the description down below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, you know what to do, and tell us what you hated about it. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And yeah, the 2060 like just all of them, they're really good cards. I really like them. The price is still a little bit high, but you get what you pay for. Thanks for watching.